All right, good evening. Welcome back to the channel. This is Coach Scott. Hope everyone is doing well this evening. Um, well, tonight the focus is going to be on deities. I received an email from someone and they asked if I ever had any interaction with any deities. So that's going to be the focal point of tonight's video. But before we jump right in, if you are seeking a consultation or a coaching session, I can be reached at www.lifeis4theliving.net. As always, the 4 represents soul, spirit, mind, and body. Alrighty, so I got this email from one of my subscribers, and goes by the name Puma. So Puma, I'm going to share my experiences with not only you, but everyone else. So, all right. So, question was if I had any interaction with any deities. Well, my first interaction I had, deity-wise, was with the deity known as Ganesha or Ganapati. Ganesha is a Hindu deity or god. It started with first I had a dream about Ganesh, and in this dream, of course, it was nighttime. I was out. It was like some type of it seemed like it was some type of ranch or something. Like that was just the feel I got in the dream I had. Well, there were a group of people there, and they were trying to force me to join their group, their organization, their tribe, whatever you want to call it. They tried to force me to do it. So, man, I'm inside this building telling these people, like, no, like, I'm not doing this. So I could clearly see the leader of this group, and people were kind of getting offended that I didn't want to join. I was like, nah, I don't want to do it. So anyway, man, I walk out the building. So as I walk out the building in the dream, these jokers started chasing me. So man, now I got like a little jog going on, and now I'm running. And the building we came out of was like a pretty big building. They had like they actually had like living quarters in there. There was like a full kitchen, like a meditation room. All this stuff was in this building. So like I'm out, I get out the building, now I'm running. I got like a little trot going. So man, they still behind me. So now I start running even faster. These jokers are still chasing me. So I'm like, man. So now it's to the point like I'm running, I'm hiding behind buildings. So I'm thinking every time I thought I'd lose them, they'd pop back up. So now I'm on the run again. So now as I'm running, I can see the stars, like up in the sky. So I'm looking at the stars, and I see the stars. So when I see the stars, I just look up like, okay. Well, when I look up, I see the name Ganesha. I see it in the night sky. So I'm like, okay, what is that? So I keep running. So I see the name, run, duck off behind some other buildings, some trees. So I start running again, look up again, I see the name again, Ganesha. So this time I say the name Ganesha. So when I say Ganesha, I fly like almost like a catapult, like boom, like a sonic boom up into the air, man. I mean, I can see everything, stars, everything. And I'm like, whoa, like I shot up into the air. And the people that were chasing me, they were just like, whoa, how did he do that? So, man, I mean, I'm up, like way up. So I get all the way up there, man. And I'm thinking I'm about to fly or something. And then I start coming back down, but then I'm panicking because it's like it's a drop. Like I'm way up in there. I'm like, oh, wow. So, of course, I come back down, land on the ground, didn't hurt myself or nothing like that. So now I'm like a distance away from him. So he's like, oh, man, there he is. So now they started chasing me again. So I'm like, all right, I said Ganesha again. Take off right up into the air, man. And I mean, this time I'm kind of gliding up in the air with such force that I went up, with the wind. So now I'm kind of just gliding up in the air, man. I'm kind of like uh, like a little kid or something. Like I got to look like a smile on my face. I'm like, oh man, this is pretty cool. Well, as I'm coming down this time, uh, I wake up. So, man, that next day, like, soon as uh, I got up, like, immediately, once I got myself together, first thing I did was go to the library. Went to the library, started looking up information on Ganesha, saw him. I was like, whoa, of course he is the elephant-headed deity. That's who he is. So I'm like, okay, huh. So of course I started reading up on him, all this stuff like this. So now at this time, when I had this experience with that dream, I was a Christian at that time. So I'm just like, okay, why am I dreaming about a Hindu deity? Now I do believe in the concept of having a past life. So I said, you know what, maybe I had some dealings with this deity in a past life. So I didn't panic. I just read up on them. Of course, I printed off a few copies of some information. I just kind of kept it with me. All right, so fast forward about a week or two. So it's this bookstore I love to go to. So I went to the bookstore, and I'm in there just doing my thing, looking around. So I come back up, and a lot of times they'd have meditation classes there. So as I'm coming back up, I walk past, and this CD draws my attention on the wall. Well, on the front cover of the CD, it's a picture of the Divine Mother. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, okay, what is this? So I start looking at it, I read it, and as I turn it, it was by this musician named Craig Pruis. And you actually can find his music on YouTube if you check him out. But I got the CD, and it had an invocation to the Divine Mother and an invocation to Ganesha. So I bought it. We listened to it, started listening to it immediately when I got to the house. And man, the music was so calming and so relaxing. So I'm like, man, I'm about to add this to my routine. Because, just even though I was a Christian at that time, I still prayed and I meditated. So man, I'm listening to it like every day, like every morning. I'm listening to it. So I was able to go into deeper meditative states because the music was just that calming. Like, a couple of times, man, I fell asleep doing the meditation, but it was really that calming. And once again, the musician's name is Craig Pruis. You can find him on YouTube. All right, so listen to it every day, made it a part of my routine. Man, I got my candle going, got my incense. I had even got a little Ganesha statue at that time, So, after I had that dream, I didn't really have any more dreams after that, or no other experiences as far as that goes, as far as Ganesh goes. So, year later. So a year later, I'm still got my little routine going every day. So, run across a video by Bobby Hemmett, and Bobby's talking about an experience someone had had with Ganesha. So I'm like tuned in, like, okay, I'm listening to it. So then it was another video. No, I'm not sure. I think Panic might have been on the video with Bobby, Brother Panic. But if not, it might have been a separate video. But in the video, there was a few people talking about their experiences with Ganesh. So I'm listening to it, like, okay. And then Panic talked about, getting you an elephant statue and giving the statue like a curry bath. So anyway, to show you where this is going. So I went to go visit a buddy of mine. But no, let me see. Now I was on vacation. So he was like, man, just come by. You can chill at the house, man. I'm like, all right, bet. So I'm in town, hanging out with him. So he tells me like, yo, man, he's like, yo, man, the energy's off in my place, man. It's like something's off. So he talked about how he was having like some nightmares, that type of thing. So I'm like, okay, but I started traveling. Everywhere I would go, I would take that CD with me by Craig Pruitt. So man, I'm like, well, yo, man, you mind if I play this CD in your house? So I played the CD, got it going, and then immediately I just got the notion. I was like, yo, man, you know what? Let's go to the store and look for an elephant, man. So now, show y'all how this worked out. When I heard about the ritual for Ganesha, it's supposed to be a white elephant. Man, we went to a TJ Maxx. I believe it was a TJ Maxx or Marshall's. And I just went there and picked the elephant up. Got the elephant, and then we went by a Piggly Wiggly, and I got the curry. So, man, we go and get the curry. Well, he had to go do some other stuff. I was like, well, perfect. I got back to his place, made the curry. So I go and get the elephant statue, and I got the invocation going, the CDs going, invocation for the Divine Mother, then the invocation for Ganesha. So, man, I got it going, playing. So I got the curry going. So, the curry's hot. So I had to let it cool off a little bit. So, man, I got the elephant statue, and I'm standing in the kitchen. So I literally took the curry. I held the statue in my hand, and I took the curry and I poured it all over that elephant statue while the Ganesha invocation, the music was going. So, man, right as I'm doing this, oh my gosh, I see this blue light like shoot up. It shot up like near the ceiling. And man, it was like instant bliss, like peace. And it like, you could see it like just go all through my buddy's house, like all through it. I'm like, yo, like, man, it was so intense and so peaceful. Like, man, it was like my insides was vibrating when this happened. So he comes back, and as soon as he sets foot on the porch, man, he's like, yo, what are you doing here, man? This feels completely different. Like, completely different. Like, the energy was so peaceful, and like, it just went all through the house, man. We just like chilled, like just sat there, like in his den area, man, just like amazed by the energy. So, that night, I was in the back room. I was back there meditating, cause I meditate, sometimes before I go to sleep, or sometimes not. I might do like I might clear myself, via prayer, with the Universal Prime Creator. So, man, so I'm sitting in the back. So my third eye pops open. I literally see like this bubble, like a force field, like go over and around the house. Like, man. And it's like once where he lived at in the neighborhood, it's like, man, like one part of the neighborhood was kind of peaceful, but like on the other side, like, man, it became a completely different neighborhood. But oh my gosh, like when I seen the bubble come down over the house, man, it was wild. But that next day, he was like, man, dude, like it feels completely different in here, like everything. So that was my first experience and interaction with a particular deity who was Ganesha at that time. Well, of course. Oh, so man, all right. So some people make offerings. You can give Ganesha offerings of coconut. So man, I had come back from the store and I didn't get the coconut. Like I said, I gave the curry bath, set up a little spot for Ganesh like near the door, and man, it was pretty wild. But we went over to his brother's house, and we walking through there, man. So I noticed he had some, I think it's the Malibu rum, or like a coconut. So I said, yo, man, can I get some of that? He's like, yeah, man. How much you need? So I'm like, man, probably like only like maybe a shot or something like that. He said, nah, dude, just take the bottle. So anyway, I took the bottle back and I gave Ganesha an offering of the Malibu coconut rum. Now, I ended up, like I said, I was only in town for a week. And my buddy told me, he said, man, the house was still peaceful after I left. He was having like some very revealing dreams. Like he said, in one dream, Ganesha showed him that it should have been a white statue. So he eventually did it. Like he went and got a white statue, was doing it. Like he started reading up on him, and he's like, man. But the place he was living in, he ended up moving. But he told me, man, he was just like, dude, that is the most peaceful that spot had ever been since he lived there. So, now I don't know if he's still doing it now, but he was doing it then. But hey, that was one experience. That was my experience with Ganesha, and it was pretty cool. It started off with a dream, and then from there, I just pretty much rolled with it. Let's see. My next experience was a consultation I'd had with a young lady. I'd actually met her, like we actually met for lunch, and we had the consultation, man. So, we sat down, placed our order, so now we waiting on the food. So a lot of times if I'm really trying to connect with someone, I might ask them like, hey, let me hold your keys, or, something that you carry with you a lot besides your keys. It might be like a necklace or something. So, man, she gave me like this necklace that she always wore, man. So I'm sitting there, man, and I'm getting vibes from the necklace, man. So as I'm doing that, man, I felt this tremendous like surge of power. Like it was like, whoa. Like, man, I mean, it was so powerful till I kind of like just sat up in the booth we was in, like, okay. And she's like, everything okay? I'm like, and I wasn't really saying it. I was like, I didn't know what to say. I was like, man. She's like, you good? I'm like, yeah. Well, the energy I was feeling was the goddess Athena. So I'm sitting there and I'm getting in. First, I felt the tremendous power. Then I saw the statue, but it was like I was seeing pieces of the statue, and then I saw like the form of Athena. And I'm sitting here like, whoa. So I'm like, man, okay, do I ask this woman this? So I'm like, I said, do you work with Athena? She's like, yes. Like she got excited. She's like, yes. I said, well, man, I said, she is with you and she is with you strong. She was like, oh my God. And I was like, yeah, for real. Like, oh my God, like that, man. It was so powerful. Like, it literally felt like a current. It felt like a current of electricity was running through me. And I'm, Athena's giving me information to give to her, so I'm giving it to her. So, man, I'm just sitting here like blown away because, of course, I'd had the experience with Ganesh. Now I'm having the experience with a goddess, which was Athena. So I'm sitting here like, okay. So then she was like, well, hey, I know we got the consultation today, but, if you get time, I'd like you to come out to my place and just, tell me what you feel from the energies and all this stuff. So, oh man, y'all, this is where it gets interesting. So I'm like, all right, I can come by on the weekend. So I'm driving over there, right? So I come down one road, not paying attention at first. So I see the name of the road. I'm like, okay, it didn't hit me. So then I get down the road and I hit another road. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. So the place where she lived at, to get over there were 3 roads, and the 3 roads were named after deities. So I'm like, man, what is this? So I'm like, hold up. So I'm like, I mean, it was kind of crazy for me to ask her that, but I'm like, there are three roadways named after you. Realize? She's like, yeah, that's why I called you over here. I wanted to see what you got. So I'm like, man. So I'm like, I'm blown away. So I'm blown away because I'm like, all right, there's three roads over here, and they're named after deities. So I'm like, okay. Now, the energy, whew, the energy out here was like, man, it was like, good Lord, if I had to describe it, man, it was, that whole area was just very calming. Like, very, very calming. Like, the whole area where she stayed at. So, anyway, go over there, start kind of walking around. So, man, I'm walking around. Of course, she hadn't got there. I got there a little early because I wanted to walk around. She was out doing some errands, man. So, I went back and sat in my car, man. So, I'm sitting in my car. And I'm sitting there kind of listening to some music. I love jazz, so jazz just like really mellows me out. So I'm listening to some jazz, man. And I'm sitting there, and man, right, one of the roads, like I said, I wanted to walk around, and man, my third eye gets to opening, and man, I literally see this dude come walking by with like a whatever they wore in that time period, like a toga, whatever you call it, like that type of thing. He just walked by me, big, tall, like muscular dude, man, like clothing, like had like the whole gold uh bracelets on the wrist. He just walked by and then poof, he was gone. I was like, what? So I'm like, man. So of course, uh, she got back. I told her what I had picked up so far, and she's like, yeah, I have a lot of cool. I love this spot where I'm at. I'm just like, so man, it really got me curious. Y'all know, like certain spots all over the world are certain spots for like uh different type of energies, like vortex, portals, all that stuff. But man, that experience just took it, just blew my mind. Like, you know, whew, it was just amazing. But nah, she worked with Athena, and Athena was with her, like really, really strong. It just blew my mind. That's all I can say on that, man. But that was the second interaction. The third was another consultation. Um, I had with another young lady. Um, Went, met with her, but this was pretty cool. So the day before, I was actually supposed to meet with her. The day before, I'm meditating, so I see this statue, but the statue is like a black shiny stone statue, but it's sparkling, and it looked, the shape was what threw me off. Anyway, um, I don't want to say what it was, just that for, not right now. But anyway, it kind of threw me off. So I'm like, man, what is that? All right, so this was the day before. So when I finally go over there, met her at her place, we did the consultation. Now, most times I do consultations via Zoom, you know. But if somebody said, well, hey, I'd like to sit down, let's do the consultation, I'm cool with that. But most times it's by Zoom, just letting y'all know. But anyway, went, met with her. So we sat down, we talked. So she, well, I'm not going to say the issue she was dealing with. But anyway, went over there, met her at her place. So she said, well, what type of vibe, you getting off my place where I'm at? I said, nah, man, energy feels pretty good. I said, but, I like to sit here for a while. I said, because, sometimes stuff can hide when, somebody comes through, or sometimes they can pop back up. you know. Anyway, so, I'm out kind of walking around. Then I come inside, come into a place. So she wanted to show me, her meditation room. Man, I get up in there and I get to the back. Yo, this chick like got like a whole temple back there. I'm talking about, man. I mean, it was like, it was like something out of a movie. Like man, oh my gosh. Like the whole setup, like waterfall, uh, big old big old piece of amethyst was back there, man. Um, of course the incense was going. She had the singing bowls, like that was going in the back. Man, listen. Oh my gosh. Woo. Man, that place felt electric. Like, and it was so calming. Well, as she's showing me this, the image I got the day before of that statue was there in her place. And I was like, yo, who is that? And she's like, oh, that's Venus. And I said, oh, okay. I had got that image the day before. Now, if y'all go online and y'all look up the statue of Venus, the one that looks like a rock. The one that looks like a rock. It's a brown one. When I saw this one the day before that, it was black, and it had sparkles in it. Like it was literally sparkling. Like if you looked at it, it would look like stars shining in the night. That's what the statue. That's the best way I could describe it. So man, woo, that was amazing because I'm like, okay. And she's like, nah. She was like, no, Venus, that's my mother. So, of course, this is the third interaction with a deity, and I'm just like straight mind blown. So I'm sitting here like, okay, huh, this is different, man. So she was just like, so what do you think so far? And I'm like, nah, she with you. And then I told her about my experience the day before. So anyway, we were doing a consultation. She'd had some things that had happened to her in childhood. And so I started working with her. Now, so we sitting there, man, and a lot of times, if I'm trying to help someone clear some type of trauma, man, I go deep into the zone as far as that goes. So we start going into the zone. So man, I can see the outline of a small child, like a girl. And I'm seeing this outline. I'm like, yo, okay. So, I didn't want to alarm her by letting her know what I was seeing. Cause, sometimes you tell people you see something, it might scare the hell out of them. So I wasn't about to do that. But I'm literally seeing the outline. Like I can see the outline. Like it's invisible, but I can see it. The hair and all that stuff. So the hair on the little girl's head was like in the form of like some Shirley Temple curls, man. So I'm sitting here like seeing this. So man, she like kind of sits up, like she said, wait a minute, this little girl here. And I go, yeah, it is. So she was like, okay. And I'm like, do you want to continue? She's like, yeah. So of course we continued, man. So we started working. I'm going deeper and deeper and deeper. And man, so anyway, the little girl was kind of standing afar off. Like she was standing afar off. So I'm communicating like through my heart center, like, hey, it's okay. So she gets closer. So as she's getting closer, now I'm really feeling the energies of that traumatic experience that this lady had went through when she was a little girl. So anyway, we got past that, and of course, I can't really go into detail about it, full detail, but anyway, we got the trauma process. But this is where it gets interesting. So she gets up. Of course, a lot of emotions got released. So, she goes, gets herself together. She comes back. She said, hey, I want to show you something. I said, okay. So she goes and gets a photo album. She gets the photo album, And she said, "Is this the little girl you saw?" And I go, "Oh my God, yeah." She said, "Yeah, you, that's me, the Shirley Temple curls. This is the age when this happened." I said, "Oh my God." And that was the little girl that I had seen, which was her. That was her. I was blown away by that. So I'm sitting here like, damn. Whew. So, um, that was amazing. So, I mean, cause Venus was there. Venus was working it, like working through this whole situation. And we got that trauma cleared. So that was pretty amazing to me. It was a beautiful experience. I was glad I could be a part of it, but man, to actually see the child form of her, the child form of her in the room, and then once the trauma was cleared, she was gone. I was just blown away by that. That was amazing to me. And of course, man, it's been some years now, but she's never had any, like, the emotional struggle she was having before that. She hasn't had them anymore. So I was glad to be a part of that healing process. Now, what I will say is this: through those experiences I've had, and this is probably gonna be part one. I probably go into part two. We'll do a part two. We'll just say it's part one. But through those experiences, man, that was just opening my eyes up even further. 'Cause like I said, I'm coming from a Christian background. That still at that time, I was open though. I wasn't completely closed minded because I was just like, okay, I've had some interactions with some of these energies. So anyway, I will say this: if you are going to work with a particular deity, or if you've had contact, do your research. Read up on that particular deity. And when I say read up, I'm talking about, man, just study. Study, see what you can learn about the deity. Watch videos, because sometimes when we have these experiences, it's easy to get caught up in wanting to see the phenomena, or, to try to get something from that particular energy, that deity, on a daily basis. Me, myself, I don't think it works like that. I mean, just through my experience, that deity is working with you and they're helping you on your with your spiritual growth. That's cool. But you start putting so much emphasis on something daily is going to happen. That's when you're gonna go off into the weeds. You won't be focused. You'll lose focus. So, if you're gonna do it, research the deity, man. Research the deity, and don't see, looking for a favor like it's like a genie in a lamp or something like that. Nah, not like that. Just work with the energy, see what happens, but do your research. Just by you studying and reading up on the that god or that goddess, that will draw the energy closer to you. So, like I said, do your research, put some time in, and if that particular god or goddess is trying to work with you, they will make their presence known. I'm pretty sure you'll have some synchronicities, because I've worked with a few now and I've had synchronicities. Things happen, the things just lined up. So, yes, we are not alone in the universe. There are angels, there are gods, there are goddesses, and everything else after that. So, but yeah. Puma, I hope this video helped you with your question. You shot me the email, so I was glad to get the information to you. But like I said, this is part one. I'll do a part two, detailing some other experiences I've had with other deities I've worked with. So, but yeah. But I hope the information is helpful for you. And this is Coach Scott. And once again, if you're seeking a consultation or a coaching session, then I can be reached at www.lifeis4theliving.net. And as always, the 4 represents the soul, spirit, mind, and body. All right. Peace.